want to say thank
Thank
you
you.
for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Now, this is a half hour, 45 minutes of your time. You have as much time as you like. You can talk
Okay.
about anything you want. It's uncensored. You can gloves off. And for people who want to know what uncensored is my way of showing people that even if we're learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of disabilities or learning disabilities. That,
Hmm.
that you should never give up and you should prove to people you can still mount to something. And with that being said, this is your time after all, and it's completely whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. So that's a lot of pressure. Hold on one moment. I'm sorry. I got my 2-year-old with me. His name is Tristan. You can see him right there. I guess I can talk about how it is here. I live in Los Angeles. Um, it's a little bit harder, I guess, for African American females, Black females, to really get a lot of roles out here. Many of us are subjected to very low budget filming, or we're always playing the cop or the vixen or the prostitute type roles. And many of us are getting very, very irritated because it seems like we're just not getting the opportunities that we rightfully deserve. We
Right.
spend a lot of money on education and training, and we're not getting anywhere, it seems like. So I guess that's what's really just been bugging me lately. Like today, I went for an audition, and it was a really good part. And the producer actually came up to me afterwards, and he told me I might not get the part because they were thinking about giving it to a Caucasian female. And that really kind of hurt my feelings because that wasn't the first time that I've been told that. So I don't know how it is, I guess, in other places, because I know in Atlanta it's really big, a really successful area for African American actors, versus like the West Coast. So I don't know if you want to touch on that or if you know anything
Yeah,
about that.
this is your time after all. I would love to fire you up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to piss you off, but also I would like to make you laugh at the same time. You like I said, this is and you can throw it back at me. You can piss me off and
Yeah.
make me laugh, and you're making a new friend out of it. But you
Yeah.
bring up
Yeah.
a good subject. I would like to hear more about it, and that's you can say whatever you want. That's just messed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, it's a really frustrating time for a lot of people because you see a lot of black actors right now writing their own material, and we're really trying to get our names out there, but it's really really difficult because we're in so much competition with a lot of the bigger production companies, the bigger I guess the wolves of the pack, if you will, and we're sitting here just by ourselves trying to make a difference. But I believe that Hollywood, I think there is opportunity for them to really expand their minds and write roles for leading characters for Black America, Black Hollywood. But it seems like they're pretty content right now with the way they've been doing things. But again, this was a struggle also for the LGBT community for a long time. They weren't getting hardly any roles, and they had to play, down what they were and play heterosexual roles and things like that. And now they practically run Hollywood. So I think that pretty soon we'll have a lot more doors open. But it was just like Viola Davis said, when she was at the awards just this year, the only thing standing in the way of a black female and a white female is the opportunity line, and it's just not there. And like for me, I have two screenplays that I wrote, and I'm working on a third one. And I'm really trying to pitch them and really get them out there because they have a majority of African American characters, and they're good roles. It's not like nobody's playing the whore, and it's not like your black exploitation movies that were very popular in the '70s and seem to be very popular among Black Hollywood now. And I know I'm going to anger a lot of people with that comment, but a lot of the black movies you see that's being done by some black people are like black exploitation movies. Oh, so and so is cheating, and everybody has to act ghetto and ratchet, and that's not the kind of roles that serious actors want. we start out with those roles, we take those roles because they're there, they're being offered, but we really want some of the starring roles that are being offered to white America, I guess you could say. So that's just kind of, I guess, whenever I get the chance to talk about it, I'm always talking about it because it's something that really frustrates me. And people keep saying, why don't you just move to Atlanta? Why don't you just go to the South? It's no big thing. Why do I have to move clear across the country to get the same opportunity that somebody who came from Atlanta just got, but they're white, you know? So I don't know what else to say about it. I just know that it just really, really kind of angers me.
No, I agree with you, and you bring
Yeah.
up a couple good subjects, if you don't mind me for asking you.
Yeah, go ahead.
First off, it's bullshit, but it's a stereotype, and I am mentally challenged and retarded. So I'm in the same boat. It's like, well, oh, you're mentally challenged or retarded. Well, I guess the only roles you can do is, that's making faces.
Right.
And I apologize for people out there with disabilities, but I'm making a point that saying you have a disability, so everyone thinks.
Yeah, you can't do anything else, right?
Yeah, and the same thing with you. You say, "Oh, I'm black," so I guess the drug dealers and gangbangers. So that's all you can give me. It's all bullshit. It's basically about people and I'll give you a perfect example. Trying to think through of a couple of my favorite black actors that I really like. Will Smith is one of them.
Very versatile, yeah. I like him a lot.
I like Wesley Snipes. A funny story about that. Wesley Snipes was a student in my father's class.
Wow.
When my dad first started to teach in the Bronx back in 19... let's see. He's been teaching for about 46 years, 47 years. So when he first started out in the Bronx, one of the students was Wesley Snipes.
That's cool.
Funny enough, around the corner was where J-Lo went to school.
So are you in New York right now?
No, I'm more upstate, more near West Point.
Okay. Is it really cold right now?
It's a little hit and miss.
Hit and miss sounds cold. Like here today was 89 degrees. So
that's nice.
Yeah, so it's not quite winter weather yet, but that's okay. I don't need it to be. But yeah, a lot of talented people have come out of New York and Philadelphia, even where I'm from. Such as Will Smith and a few others. It's been an amazing amount of talented people, and I find that during the 80s and the 90s, a lot of people didn't matter what color you were. If you had the talent and you had the passion and the perseverance to do it, you became very successful. As with now, you can have talent and perseverance, and it's kind of like, well, you're not as pretty as so and so, you're not as handsome as so and so, and it's like, okay, well, that's great, but what does that have to really do with the part? You asked if I could perform, if I could do the job, and it's like, yeah, but you don't look as good on TV as so and so, or you don't look as good in the movies as so and so. And I've been told that also. I've been told that I wasn't pretty enough, that my face looked funny on camera. I've been told that my mouth moved funny, and they didn't think it would be good for television. I've been told I was too dark to play a black woman. I've been told I'm not ethnic enough to play a black woman. I've been told that I couldn't get the job because the leading character didn't like that I was prettier than her. So it's just out here, it's so much glamour and fake, and everybody has to be something, and it's just the most exhausting thing that I've ever seen. Can we just get back to the days when you could just have talent, and if you happen to be cute, fine. But it's just nothing like that out here. So my advice to anybody who's thinking about packing up and coming to California who's a person of color, I suggest going to Atlanta first, build up your resume first, grab so many of those opportunities where it seems like color is not really the issue. Grab so many of those opportunities, build up that resume, build up that experience, and then come out here. Because I can tell you right now, everybody and their mother is out here competing for something. My dentist is a musician. Okay, my hairdresser, she's freaking modeled. I mean, everybody is not just one thing. Everybody's out here competing with everybody. So if you're thinking about coming out here, please go to the Atlanta first. Build yourself up. Build up your skin. You know, you need thick skin out here. You need to get everything you can get opportunity wise. Then come out here. I can guarantee if you just come straight out here and you're a person of color, you will be waiting a long time. Unless, of course, you know that God blesses you with that right opportunity, the right time, right place, right everything. And if that's not happening, you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning. And I hate to say that, and I don't mean to discourage anyone, but I'm trying to be as real and save you some years and save you some frustration here. That's what I'm trying to do.
All right. Well, use me for a perfect example. Do you think I have a chance? Yeah, I'm white, but I'm not. I don't have any connections. Number one, I never went to college. I do have a learning disability. So, using me for a perfect example, I think I would hire you first of all because you're a lot better looking than I am. You're a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
And you're probably more qualified than I am. People say, "Oh well, would you hire this black girl because she's good looking?" Or then again, what about this kid who has a learning disability? That shit doesn't matter. If you're good enough to do the role, if you're good enough to do the job, then let's do the job. Going back to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like they made the Yellow Ranger yellow and the Black Ranger because he's black. Okay, your prejudice is number one, but they fit the role. And I'll give you a perfect example. Walter Jones, who was the Black Ranger, terrific actor, and he fit the part. If you gave it to anyone else, maybe it would have worked, but he really fit the part. He made it his own. Trini was supposed to be a guy, but they turned it into a woman, and it came down to her, Trini, the Asian girl, or the Spanish girl. And you're trying to dictate, okay, do we want to cater to the Spanish or do we want to cater to the Asians? And it's like you're missing the point. One, it's a kid's show, and if you fit the part, then do it. And it's just bullshit that, it's because I'm this or you're that, and it's just ridiculous to everyone.
It is. But in Hollywood's eyes, it all makes sense. And, they go, I don't even think they're really worried about can you do it anymore. I think it's more how sexy can you be? How handsome can you be? How many people can you bring to the box office who want to look at you and sleep with you and fantasize about you? And then they say, oh, okay, that person has all of these wonderful qualities. Now let's look and see if they know how to act. And you can tell by some of the shows you watch on TV and some of the movies you see in the movie theater. You'd be like, how do these people, some of these people unfortunately can't act their way out of a paper bag. and it's like, how did you do that? It's like, and you find out later, oh, their cousin was so-and-so, or their uncle, or their mom, or their dad was a producer. And you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. And I just hate that. And I understand, being a relative of a celebrity has its perks, and that's one of them, obviously. But I would just really appreciate if they would just give more of us, and not just us, meaning people of color, but everyone who is out here with their dream in their hand. Everybody, just give us a fair opportunity. Can I do it? Can you not do it? And then we can focus on all the other foolishness later. Yeah. And that goes for people with disabilities. I mean, you watched the woman from American Horror Story. I'm not sure of her name at this moment, but I mean, she has Down syndrome, and here she's completely successful. And she American Horror Story is not the only thing she's been doing. I mean, she's been doing a few other things, but she really gained popularity with that show. And I'm like, if she was able to do it, she fit the character fine, but she was able to perform. And that just goes to show you that it can be anybody. It's not just one type of beauty, one type of, thing. So, I don't know.
No, you're right. And
Yeah.
do you watch Hawaii Five-O?
No, I've never watched. I watched it years ago. I used to watch the reruns of the old one, but I didn't watch the new one.
And the
I don't
new.
know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
No,
I'm done. I just rambled.
no disrespect.
No, it's okay. I ramble on and on. So if you don't jump in there, I'm just gonna talk right over.
I was gonna say there's a guy named I don't know his real name, but he plays Steve McGarrett, and he has a disability, or learning disability, and like you said, he's a great actor. You wouldn't know unless he said something. I
Right.
had people saying to me, you know, be completely honest, I'm gonna say it. I have a learning disability. Well, we do. Well, if he didn't say anything, I wouldn't have known. It's like, yeah, I think I cost myself the job on that one.
Wow.
But it's years of practice of hiding it really well. It's looking in the mirror, looking pretty. I went from speech therapy. I had emotional therapy. I'm not the same person who I once was back then. I wish I had this now back in high school. Would have made me a better person, more outgoing. But it took me a long way. I bet you are. If you compare yourself now to when you were growing up, you're not the same person. But
Not at all.
before I pass the show over to you, I'm gonna ask you three hard-hitting questions. And then I'll pass it over to you, and you can ask me anything you want. This is your time, after all. But the first thing I'm gonna ask you is this whole thing going on in the whole media, Black Lives Matter.
Hmm.
And I was interviewed by Mark Maloney. If you're interested, I can show you the link on your. It's not a video. It's just a radio interview I did.
Okay.
Mark Maloney is the host of the Reading Circle with Mark Maloney live in New York City. So I did a phone in, and we're talking about Black Lives Matter. And this was, yes, Fifi, I know. So my dog's already making a face. This is November 2015. I did the interview, I guess, maybe 13, 14, maybe a year, almost 2 years ago. And we were still talking about Black Lives That Matter. And along the lines is, okay, and I'm quoting what he said, now I can show you an interview, that we all can contribute, regardless of your race and your color. And I want to apologize for people out there. This is not a racist rant. This is us being human and us being honest. But okay, that he didn't say that. I'm saying that.
Right.
He said, Black lives do matter, and I said, yes, you're right. Black lives do matter. White lives matter. Asian, Spanish, all, even my dog Fifi, her life matters. All lives matters. And it's just, the media likes to scare people. Black comedians like to joke around. Don't don't watch Fox News because they're gonna scare old white people. I forgot what comedian said that. I have to look it up. It's really funny. But it's true. The media stirs up shit. It creates problems. I gave you a perfect example. Media, especially Fox News, the media created Glenn Beck, number one.
Mhm.
Number two, the media created Sarah Palin, number two. Number three, they created the Tea Party. And then number four, most importantly, they created Barack Obama. So you look at the media stuff, and you try to say, like, you guys are saying this matters, that matters, but at the same time, Barack Obama, Sarah Palin, Glenn Beck, the Tea Party, you people are in charge, and for or thank you, Fifi, You guys are in charge, and not in charge, more responsible for the nut jobs that we have. So,
Right.
you talk about Black Lives Matter, and it's true, all lives matter. But how much is that really being true, and how much is that the media just trying to stir things up? Or
Um,
am I wrong?
um, I understand. I think what you're trying to say. I mean, the media has been known to scare people more than I think they need to. They focus solely on the bad. You rarely turn on the news to see anything good. It's always, oh, so and so got killed, so and so blew up something, and blah blah blah. And with the whole phrase of Black Lives Matter, I do believe they matter. And I agree with you also, all lives matter. I mean, I'm a big, strong supporter of PETA also. So, yeah, animal life, no, no, every life matters, no matter how big or small. It all matters. A life is a life, no matter how big or small. And one of the things I advocate is, we have to respect everyone. I'm going to respect you, and I demand respect in the back. In return, I'm going to, treat you with dignity, and I want the same for me. Now, you have people are so upset and angry at the politicians and the police departments across the nation about the violence that's been going on towards the black community. Now, it's nothing new. It's been happening for generations.
Right.
But now you find more and more on the news that the police officers are not just attacking the black communities or Hispanic communities, they're attacking young, white, rich kids. And I think that's been kind of waking up a lot of people like, oh my goodness, so this is what you were talking about. And now it's become, all lives matter. So we never said it didn't matter for everyone else. We were just saying, hey, we need a little bit of help. And that's where I think the slogan came from, like Black Lives Matter. Like, you guys, please, nobody's listening. We need help in our communities. Some of these police officers are going crazy. You had a few years ago where some police officers in New Jersey were pulling over black women and raping them in the cars. And saying, hey, you violated a traffic violation. And then when the women, if they were by themselves, they would rape these women. And now you hear about it recently that some women were raped by some officer that he's been, I guess, detaining women and raping them. And these are predominantly African American women. And so we're saying, hey, our lives matter. Help us, And I think that now it definitely has turned into all lives matter because, like I said, it's not just the black community that's being targeted and attacked anymore. It's definitely it's spreading. The evil and frustration and bitterness is spreading like a disease. And it's making me very angry to the point where I don't even want to turn on the television. This whole thing with France. I was speaking to one of my friends. Him and his girlfriend were going to Paris for, they took a trip around the world or something like that. And I was talking to him on the phone, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're here downtown." And all of a sudden, you hear like screaming, and he said, "I gotta call you back." And then he posts on Facebook about the bombs and everything going off. And I was like, what? And that's when I turned on the news and I'm like, holy hell. Like it's just the disease is spreading. It's going far and wide, and I don't know how to make it stop. I don't know, what I can do as an individual. I don't, I'm a big, I protest a lot. I go to different places. Me and my friends, we get together. We're there. We're protesting. We're fighting. We're marching. We're doing what we can in a peaceful way to get the information out there to the public to say, hey, we as a human race, something is wrong. We need help. And we're trying to think of new and creative ways to get ourselves out there and exposed so that we can all put our heads together and try to find a solution to the problem, because right now there's nothing. And I hope that answered your question. I know I kind of went off a little bit, but I think that using the slogan Black Lives Matter is a great slogan, but I think that using All Lives Matter is something that we're going to end up seeing more and more and more as time goes on, because it's just getting ridiculous.
No, you're right. The next subject I was going to ask you was about, what happened in Paris. And, you know, I because I'm non-profit and I'm doing everything myself with a learning disability. If I was able to do, if I was able to help them in any way, like sense surprise and anything, I like to keep answering. I know that sounds terrible. It's like, oh, are you using the tragedy to make yourself known? Or are you trying to take the spotlight? I'm not trying to do that. It's like, my heart does go out to them. But the truth of the matter is that this country did mess up. I give Obama credit that he killed Bin Laden. The guy was a nut job. He had to go either way. But going back to Bush, you should have never killed Saddam, number one. Should have never killed Gaddafi, number two. Because these people kept their people, in line.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of the fact they're killing their own people. I really don't care. Because we're not the threat. They're there. They have to do what they have to do to keep peace in the world. And it's true. Look at the track record. They all had peace in the world. Now, because he took the dictators out, now the nut jobs are running the asylum. Now you have all these Arab Spring bullshits, and you have all the nut jobs. Eventually, it's got to become a war. And
Yeah.
that's the scary part because it's already started. Russia and France, and eventually it's got to become the East versus the West, and it's just is scary because you can't deal with mentally disturbed people like that.
Yeah. They have to be handled in a certain way. And I think like I was telling somebody earlier today, it takes a special kind of evil to go and just feel absolutely nothing when you take a life, or even to take a life of a child. And I don't care where that child comes from. It's a baby, it's a child. And to drop bombs and to gas and to kill and feel absolutely nothing. It takes a special kind of evil to do that. But having said that, it's on both sides. It's not just France. Let's just go bomb everybody. It's they're getting flagged back and forth, back and forth. And like you said, it's going to be a war. And I heard some talk, was it yesterday, that they were saying that they're preparing for war. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that that's really not the issue, because I know that if France decides, hey, let's go to war, guess who has to go to? It's not going to be, America's going to be, oh, well, we're going to sit this one out. No, it's going to be like, hey, America, come help us. And then we're all going to be dragged into it. And I don't even know why it started. I don't know what happened. I don't know who dropped the ball. But some way, somehow, I mean, you don't just do a terrorist attack for nothing. Like people say, oh, well, they're just dropping bombs for no reason. They attacked Paris for nothing. I'm sure it wasn't for nothing. There had to be some specific reason that the French government is doing or did that they were
Yeah,
unapologetic
there is a
for.
reason for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you. I didn't mean any disrespect by interrupting. You can finish what you were saying, but I can tell you.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say that there's never just not a reason, and it was most likely that the government did something or was about to do something that they were unapologetic for, and somebody said, yeah, no, that's not going to happen, and now we're all in trouble, so to speak. We're all in a mess.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. And I was going to say that the reason Paris was attacked was because they were sending troops in to fight ISIS. And so they're like, oh, well, now you're supporting Russia and now you're getting involved. We're going to turn our attentions to you. And yeah,
right.
Russia was the first one to get attacked. And I really hope Putin bombs the shit out of them. And so does it range holy hell on them. So their ISIS is nothing but a big hole in the ground. And you can just move on and just forget about it. But going back to what you were saying before, you're killing people for no reason. You go back to World War II. You talked about You know how we attacked the Germans, and yes, we killed men, women, and children, but that was the mentality you had to have back then. You had to do what you had to do to make your enemies surrender, make them disappear, and to create peace. You know, in Japan, when we dropped the bomb on
Hiroshima.
yes,
Was
and that one too. And then it's war. You have to do what you gotta do. And I know people in this generation are very sensitive, and it's kind of like you can't. Obama likes to say he's doing a good job. Besides killing Bin Laden, name one good thing that he did. Besides that,
Well, they said that he dropped the unemployment rate down. And so I don't know. I'm not really a politician. I don't really pay. I don't even know who's running for president besides Trump right now. Like, I'm not a politician, but I like Obama because he seems to care, genuinely care about his people. He may not make the best decisions, but I mean, how can you? I don't think it's just always him. You know, he's not like, oh, well, I decided I'm going to do this as president. No, so many people are behind him, whispering in his ear. So many people are doing their own thing, and I don't know. I feel like even with Bush, even with any of the presidents, whoever is my president, I want to be able to support them. I want to be able to say that's my president. They're trying their best to do what's right for this country. Now, they may make some horrible decisions, and it may affect all of us very terribly. And they may be the best president you ever saw, but the point is, they really need, I think, in my opinion, they need our support. And a lot of Americans just are not giving it out. Whether it's Obama, Bush, Clinton, whoever, it seems like some of the American people are just frustrated with politicians in general. And we know, and I'm frustrated too a lot of the time because it's like, well, darn, you guys are mudslinging back and forth, Republicans, Democrats, everybody's mudslinging back and forth. Nobody's really paying attention to what's happening out here. You guys are so busy and involved with yourselves. Get your heads out your backsides and come pay attention to what's going on out here. And the ones that are trying to pay attention, it seems like they get their puppet strings pulled on so often by Congress and senators and so many other people, and people paying them off to do this. It's like they just really need, I think, just need a backbone of support. And I think that we need to be able to stand up and say, no, this is what we want. This is what we're going to get. And I think that the president needs to be able to say, you know what, I'm the president. I need Congress to back me up also, or senators or whoever, you know. And and of course, it's not easy being president. I mean, you can name any country in the world. It's not going to be easy being, the leader of that country. There's going to be people who don't agree with you. There's going to be people who love you, people who are trying to kill you. It's just, I wouldn't want to be president. It's the hardest job to me. It looks like the hardest job ever in the world.
yeah,
But
absolutely. The last subject I'm gonna ask you, then I'm gonna pass it back to you. Was how do you feel, and where do you stand on taking in the refugees? That seems to be the biggest thing going on today.
um, uh, I don't know. It's like I think I'm on the fence with that one. And the reason it's like my heart goes out to the families, who are innocent people caught up like we are, caught up in all this foolishness. It's ridiculous. My heart goes out to them. I wish them well, but at the same time, I feel like, okay, let's take them all in. Let's say we do take them in.
Right.
We're offering them all these different services that we have that we're not even offering the American people. You see so many homeless people in Los Angeles alone. I pass maybe 5, 6 homeless people before I can even leave my block. And I live in a fairly decent neighborhood. You go down to Beverly Hills where all the rich people live, homeless people everywhere. They said we're in a state of emergency with our homeless population in Los Angeles. So let's just say we do take them in. We have millions of abandoned homes. Look at Baltimore. You got whole entire blocks, neighborhoods of beautiful homes just boarded up, abandoned. We could put them there. That's great. But what about our own people? We could feed all these refugees, give them medical attention, give them, therapy, emotional support, whatever we can do. But what about your own people? Hello?
Yep.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay. You sit there and you say, okay, let's take them in, let's do this, you know. And then it's like, okay, now the bad guys are going to say, oh, you're helping them. Bomb, bomb, bomb. And that's where I'm afraid. I'm thinking, okay, if we do this for them, we're trying to help and extend our hand to them, and then we get in trouble with so and so who decide they didn't like that. And next thing you know, we're a third world country because we've been bombed so much. And people say, well, what our military wouldn't do that. Our Marines and our Army can only do so much. Okay, you got Marines who have been discharged, dishonorably discharged, banning posts, whatever, joining some of these jihadists and Taliban and ISIS, and then they're like, well, how did that happen? They're crazy. Okay, some of these people, I don't know what is bubbling up here, but they decide, okay, well, I'm going to go over there. Now, goodness forbid you have enough people do that and they infiltrate the military or something like that. And then what happens? They know all of our secrets. They know all of our weapons. They know how to use them. You think they're not going to turn it in and make us look like some of these other countries? So I'm on the fence. It's like I really, really want to say, let's help them. Let's take them in. Let's show them how good we can be. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I'm afraid. I fear for my life, the life of my family and friends and things like that. Because I really would like to be able to stay in the so-called land of the free.
No,
So,
absolutely. And to answer that question, most of the people who were part of the Paris attacks were people
hmm
who visit, I don't know, stupid kids who wanted to go and visit ISIS, and now that should have been a tip off right there. And he's, if you want to go ISIS, you leave the country, you ain't coming back. And
right.
one of the biggest problems with the refugees that I have is okay, this is going on the record. I'm gonna say, if you're gonna do it right, do a background check on every single person. Don't say let the doors open and let all the sheep come in, because you don't know the good from the bad. And like with England, what was France, and what did the neighbor states, if they did and did not let the people in. You don't know who's the good for the bad, and so you're adding gas to the fire,
Right.
and you're expecting you're playing with something bad. It's not going to be good. Yes, you should bring in the refugees. Yes, you should give them medical attention. But how do you know those same people that you were helping aren't going to turn around on you and do something?
And that's what I'm afraid of, or they're going to attract, kind of like if you leave food out, you're going to attract roaches and mice. It's like it. I feel like they're going to be attracted to us even more so than they already don't like us. And then to sit there and say, "Oh wait, you're helping those people that we just got finished trying to kill." Like, what is that going to? That's going to put us like a big target sign on our backs or something like that. And that's what I'm just so terrified of. Even though I really, really want to help, I'm just like very afraid of that.
No, absolutely. And I know we've been hitting the hard hitting questions, and I
Okay.
apologize. It wasn't the whole point of the interview, but I'm going to pass it over to you. Was there anything you wanted to know, anything you wanted to talk about? This is your time, after all.
Well, we've been having a pretty good conversation about all the things I like to talk about. I don't have anything specifically that I can think of right now. Of course, once we hang up, I'm probably gonna be like, "Oh, I should have said," and then that's probably when I'll email you something. But right now, I don't really have anything specific. I've been enjoying the conversation. We've been having a very lively debate and conversation about a lot of different things, so it's been pretty good.
Okay, well, the next thing I was going to ask you was, so where do you think, well, two questions. First one is, when do you think someone has got to stand up and say enough is enough, it is time to change it, change everything? That's number one. And the second one, going back to you being an actress, is where do you stand on people using the whole race thing? That say you wouldn't hire me because I'm a black girl, you won't hire me because I'm a handicap. Do you think that should matter? Or like we were saying before, do you think eventually that's going to change, or do you think it's everything comes in full circle?
Well, answering the first question, when do I think someone will stand up and say, enough is enough, I need change? I think that movement's already in motion. Like I said, I protest a lot. I attend marches, and the young people of our generation, they're not just sitting around anymore. They might have been a few years ago, but now they're like, you know what, that's enough. A beat dog can only take so much before he decides to snap at you. But the thing about us is that we're trying to do it. Well, the group that I'm with, we don't have a name or anything, but the group that I'm with, we're trying, to instill positivity in our community. You want to join us? You're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. You want to join the movement? Join the movement. Start your own movement in your neighborhoods. Gather up your youth. Gather up your people. Tell them we're not going to take this anymore. Get those gangs out of your community. Force them out, just like they forced their way in. Force them out. All the drugs, we're not going to take it anymore. Get them out of your schools. Get them out of your neighborhoods. Help the police. If the police can get the support of the community, maybe they wouldn't feel like they're in the military anymore. Because I don't know if you know this, but a lot of these police officers are being trained like they're Marines.
Right.
I saw footage a few months back where they were screaming at these officers like they were in the military. And I was like, oh, those must be soldiers. They say, no, those are police officers. And I was like, oh, they think they're in the military because they believe they're at war. Why do they feel like that? I believe if the community can somehow support their police departments, maybe I'm hoping that the police will say, okay, wait a minute. They're trying to create some positive energy. Let's see if we can draw out those good police officers. There are good police officers. The media would like you to believe that all the police officers are bad. And I don't believe that. I believe that people specifically join the police force because they want to be those positive, inspirational police officers. And if we can show them that we support them and we need them to help us and we can help each other, I think we can start the movement. We can start a revolution, a positive revolution to turn our communities what they used to be or what they were, I guess, back in the 40s and 50s where, everybody was smiling, kind of like the movie Pleasantville. I don't want to say it's going to be that peaceful, but trying to get our communities back on track. Because right now, our youth, you got them fighting and killing each other and calling each other names and shooting each other down and jumping people out. What happened? Where's the parenting? What's going on? So I believe that the movement is already in motion. I believe that the youth of today, like our generation, not the younger kids like 16, 17, but like the older generation, we've already decided that enough is enough. And I personally know I've had enough. And I'm not going to stay quiet about it. I'm going to keep going. And as far as going to the second question about, will it come full circle as far as like people, well, playing the race card or playing the disability card and things like that. Like I said earlier with the LGBT community, before they weren't even, if they found out you were gay, they kind of shunned you or they kind of like, didn't really accept you, didn't want you a part of their projects. And now they practically own Hollywood along with the Jewish community. And so I believe that it's probably going to be the same. People with disabilities are coming in, hey, we're here. We are alive. We are humans. We are here. We have a passion for this also. People of the black community are doing the same thing. Hey, excuse me, hello, I have a degree, I have the education, I have the talent, I have everything you need. I have the experience, give me an opportunity. And I think the more we push and we push and we push, just like day before, it was a thing, same thing with women, they weren't getting a whole lot of the starring roles. They weren't being as recognized as men were before. And we pushed and we pushed and we pushed until they finally like, okay, fine. And I think that give it like 5, 6 years, you're going to see more and more and more people with disabilities coming in, getting characters, leading characters in major motion pictures, people of color coming full force, and it's just not going to be on the cop shows or the what I call black exploitation movies. It's not going to be like that. I believe give it 5-6 years, we're going to start seeing a serious change. I believe that everything has to come full circle. You can't just shut people out and expect that door to hold. They push hard enough, they push long enough, that door is going to break open, and then you can't fix it after that. It's going to be done. So that's how I feel about that.